More evidence of collusion with Russia. I'm going to tell you with whom. Well, we now have more evidence of collusion with Russia by Democrats. See, since this scandal started, the only proof of any collusion has been by and between Democrats and Russia. Hillary Clinton, Uranium One, the Podesta group, John Podesta's brother. All of those emails that were flying around during the Uranium One scandal from people like John Podesta, Huma Abedin, Cheryl Mills to Hillary Clinton about the dealings with Russia. We know that the Hillary Clinton campaign tried to hide their payments to Fusion GPS by funneling those payments through their law firm Perkins Coie, because Fusion GPS was paying British spy Christopher Steele, who was using Russian sources to smear Donald Trump. So there is overwhelming evidence of collusion with Russia, just not on the part of the Trump campaign, but on the part of the Clinton campaign and Democrats. Because we're now finding out that the ranking Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner, was communicating with a lobbyist for a Russian oligarch in an attempt to reach Christopher Steele to further, it appears, smear Donald Trump. He exchanged text messages with this guy, but more importantly, he didn't notify. Senator Warner did not notify the Senate Intelligence Committee for around 7 months that he was communicating with these people. Now, I'm reading it here, and it says in a Fox News piece, quote, throughout the text exchanges, Warner seemed particularly intent on connecting directly with Steele without anyone else on the Senate Intelligence Committee being in the loop, at least initially. In one text to the lobbyist, Warner wrote that he would, quote, rather not have a paper trail, end quote, of his messages. That is very, very problematic. It took him 7 months to notify the rest of the Senate Intelligence Committee that he was trying to reach out to Christopher Steele. Now remember, Christopher Steele is a guy that two of Warner's colleagues, Republicans Chuck Grassley and Lindsey Graham, over in the Senate Judiciary Committee, have referred to the Department of Justice for a criminal investigation and potential prosecution. So you've got a guy that two senior senators in Lindsey Graham and Chuck Grassley, and Lindsey Graham has been no great ally of President Trump. He was a big never-Trumper. So if Lindsey Graham finds this problematic, it's problematic. Well, here we have Lindsey Graham and Chuck Grassley referring Christopher Steele to the Department of Justice for investigation and possible prosecution, while Senator Mark Warner, the ranking Democrat on the Intelligence Committee, is trying to reach out to Steele. Now, in fairness, the Grassley-Graham letter came later on, but Warner is in the loop on this intelligence. Warner knew that what Steele had was junk. Warner knew there was no Russia collusion, but it appears he did this as a politician, not as someone overseeing our process and maintaining its integrity. This is incredibly disturbing that we now have what appears to be not only a weaponized Department of Justice and FBI, but it appears that the Democrats tried to weaponize the Senate Intelligence Committee. And I don't understand how Mark Warner can remain on the committee. Now, let's think about this. Jeff Sessions was forced to recuse himself because while a sitting U.S. senator, he had a perfectly appropriate, commonplace meeting with Russian diplomat Sergei Kislyak. Nothing wrong about that. Senators, congresspeople, White House staff meet with foreign dignitaries, foreign diplomats all the time. The Obama administration knew about Sessions meeting with Kislyak. They had no problem with it. The FBI was notified. The various and appropriate intelligence agencies were notified. DOJ was notified. Sessions' office, the State Department was notified, made all the appropriate notifications that senators, congresspeople, White House staffers do, agency staffers, when meeting with foreign diplomats. There was nothing remotely unusual about the meeting. Happens every day in D.C., happens every day in our government with the representatives of foreign governments. Yet Jeff Sessions, pretty much immediately upon being confirmed as Attorney General, was forced to recuse himself from the Hillary Clinton email investigation. Now, we all know that his recusal was forced by allies of Hillary, or I should say we all strongly suspect. But Mark Warner, an investigator, the ranking Democrat, who's really an investigator now on the House, the ranking Democrat who's really an investigator now on the Senate Intelligence Committee, a guy who's helping run this investigation alongside Senator Burr. He's communicating behind the backs of committee members, behind the backs of the DOJ, behind the backs of the FBI, of the CIA, of the State Department, with lobbyists to get to Russian oligarchs, to talk to Christopher Steele, who's feeding bad information at the FBI and DOJ, maybe with the consent of Comey and McCabe, Warner does this, and he's allowed to remain on the committee. There are no calls for his recusal. This is beyond bad. This is beyond problematic. But even worse, there are Republicans giving him cover. Republicans are protecting this guy. And do you know who's protecting him? Well, tune into my longer 1-hour show, Off the Cuff Declassified, and I'm going to name some names. If you like this content, you really need to watch my new longer show, Off the Cuff Declassified, where we go deep into these segments. I name names. I have great guests on every day. But you can only get that show if you subscribe to our premium service at www.therebel.media/shows. If you're already a subscriber, thank you very, very much. And do not forget to go to your app store and download our app. It is awesome. I'm using it every day, not only to watch my show, but to watch all of the other great shows on the network. The Gorka Report, Ezra Levant Show, Amanda Head's new show. We have such great content. We have such great hosts. You're definitely going to want to download the app. If you're already a subscriber, thank you very, very much. You have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with you on Monday.